Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I feel like we've kind of shifted gears. Just the other day, I was talking about how or somebody on Twitter was actually talking about how we are going to hear a lot more about SWIFT in the news and these Russia sanctions. So this from XRP NEWS, Russia out of SWIFT but will be entering XRP. This is a theory that I know we've been hearing a lot about in the XRP community. Oh, and look at that, 589 likes as of now. But I don't want to get off topic. We've been hearing about this a lot. And so, you know, there are different theories. We know Russia has been trialing or had been trialing RippleNet from as early back as 2018. Some are suggesting that, you know, Russia could pivot and maybe make its way over to the XRPL instead of having to rely on SWIFT. I mean, we know fundamentally SWIFT is an inferior system for settlement anyway. We've been talking about this for years now, way before this has even happened. But could something else happen? And I've got some ideas here. I'm going to talk about them. Benjamin S. down here saying, we shall see. I suspect Russia will use Bitcoin and Ethereum. Interesting point that I'm going to circle back to in a sec. Jay Grissom here saying, I imagine the volume of Russia would cripple both of those networks and drive fee prices to levels that will make it impossible for others to use. If they did this, I think they would kill both of those networks. Sam down here saying they will be banned to work with Russia due to sanctions. Ripple will comply with any such order, in my opinion. So there's also this thought here that, you know, Ripple, although the XRPL is decentralized, there is still a way for Ripple to comply with sanctions, similar to how SWIFT complies, that Ripple would comply and essentially prevent Russia from utilizing the XRPL. So you're asking yourself, how is that possible? I'm going to continue. So Thomas Silkjar here on Twitter, he made this personal comment. In light of recent news and SWIFT cutting out Russia, there's been several comments of the situation benefiting XRP. These comments, besides being revolting and tasteless by many lengths, is largely based on ignorance and the lack of understanding. So Thomas Silkjar here throwing shade at some members in the XRP community for, I suppose, some tasteless comments about XRP hodlers benefiting over war. Again, I'm trying to do my best here on this channel. I do not want to be insensitive. So me, myself, I'm trying to personally look at this from a real fact-based situation. So just looking at the facts, for example, the sanctions on SWIFT will definitely have an effect on how Russia does business. And so let's move from there. Thomas Silkjar continues by saying there are shills in the crypto community solely reacting to keywords rather than facts, and in this case are careless about the situation and completely disconnected from reality. Mind who you listen to. While no one can ban anyone from using decentralized blockchains directly, any solutions built on top to move fiat cross borders is not. So there's an important distinction that Thomas Silkjar makes here. Fiat has to turn into crypto in the sending end and back to fiat in the receiving end. These on and off ramps or exchanges are heavily regulated, and many have even been proactive in monitoring UA/RU based traffic since the invasion started. So that is Ukrainian and Russia based traffic. Don't think for a second that blockchains are an easy alternative to SWIFT for moving fiat. Okay, very bold point here from Thomas Silkjar on Twitter. And we also have Crypto Dash asking a similar question. Two questions if possible. If Russia starts using the XRPL, hypothetically speaking of course, to circumvent world sanctions being shut off by SWIFT, and the world knows it's using the XRPL, what stops the world superpowers from ordering Ripple? So think about this for a second. Ordering Ripple and all of the node operators to conduct through a socially responsible consensus vote to refuse validating Russian transactions on the XRPL. And if so, then how decentralized are any blockchains for that matter? So POW, POS, POC, how decentralized are they really? An important question we may have to ask ourselves, considering Ripple on the World Economic Forum's website and the Western countries sharing the same ideology. These are the ones that are able to cut off SWIFT, and these are the ones, by and large, not everybody, that have a connection to the World Economic Forum. So is this possible? Is there more to this? Well, I wanted to bring you guys this clip here from Crypto Eddie. The SWIFT headlines are actually misleading. This is not a de-SWIFTing of Russia. Listen to these people, and she's tagged them all on Twitter in the Twitter space. It's the freezing of Russian reserve assets, removing ease to support the ruble, and the risk to global economy. So guys, this is what's actually happening in more detail. Listen to this.
the most important thing to point out is this is not a de-swifting of the entirety of the Russian economy and banking sector.
The fact that the G7 is going after the central bank at all is a huge step.
If we take von der Leyen at her word, and I do think this is where this is headed, and we'll find out more tomorrow, that they are going to freeze over 400 billion in foreign reserve assets. I think that's what this means. So that means that, so if you assume the Russians have 600 billion plus in reserves, that's what we understand. You know, about 145 billion of that is in gold held domestically, so that stays, that's theirs. Then there's hard currency. There's currency in China, which presumably they can still get. But you're looking at 400 billion held all over the world, predominantly in euros, not dollars, but some dollars, but mainly euros, that they would not be able to touch. And then what that means is that they're reliant on their hard currency and gold to intervene to support the ruble and to backstop their commercial banking. I mean, that is a huge blow to the Russian economy. It might not be felt Monday or Tuesday, but can easily send ripple effects across the week. Maybe I'm over-interpreting what we're reading, but Julia, I don't know, tell me if you agree, disagree, and Brian, please, but that was my reading of this statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is absolutely unprecedented, and I think the gloves are off. If the Russians' gloves are off and they're going all in, we're going all in. This is unprecedented, and I do think that the G7, Japan in some contexts, are playing a calculated gamble with the global economy and with the core of certain areas of domestic industry in the interest of foreign policy, in the interest of hurting Russia.
So there's a lot of things there. Let me just touch on the last thing she said, is that these Western countries, okay, the West, they are playing a very dangerous game with Russia right now that could risk destroying the global economy. This is going to have far-reaching effects. We know Russia is a big trading partner with a lot of countries around the world. So by doing this, this is essentially declaring war on Russia. And Putin, I believe Putin even said that back in 2014 with the Crimea incident and those sanctions that were put on Russia at that time. So let's put all this into perspective. Now the focus is on Russia and the Ukraine. It is off the beer flu, which was the initial catalyst for panic, global economy shutdowns. As per usual, the West has in their toolkit the option to impose sanctions on a country that is very influential in the world economy, Russia in this case. And so is this perhaps another opportunity to crash the economy? And is this the next step in the Great Reset? And more importantly, can it be, will it be thwarted by Vladimir Putin? All interesting questions. I'm going to look into this a little further with this from Michael Paul, XRP here. Very interesting how all the news channels are talking about a new payment system, and at the same time as the corrupt SEC is about to give XRP complete clarity. Coincidental timing, or am I just grasping at straws here? Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the SEC Ripple lawsuit in this video, but if you guys have been following the case, and if you've been watching my videos over the last little while, you're probably up to date with kind of where we are in the case. There is going to be this culmination point where we get a verdict and we are going to see XRP utility explode. Now, the timing of that, this is interesting because the timing of that could not be better if we are seeing these sanctions being imposed on Russia now. And I'm not saying necessarily for the Russian economy. I'm talking about Western economies, and I'll tell you why I mean that in a second. So Michael Paul down here and Frankie also just bringing up, some of these familiar photographs that we've seen from SNB, the BNS meeting from way back in 2019, I believe. The connections there. Representatives from the IMF, the Swiss National Bank, the head of the Central Bank of Russia. There's the back of her head right there. Of course, we had on this panel at that time Brad Garlinghouse talking about Ripple and XRP utility, and just some more photographs to that regard. Brad Garlinghouse here on that panel, another shot of him. And then over here, high-level advisory group of the IMF's Interdepartmental Working Group on Finance and Technology. So interesting to note, Jimbo down here saying, I don't want the XRPL associated with Putin and Russia. Micah Paul down here saying, do you drive a vehicle with gas in it? Where do you think the oil came from? So, there are a lot of different moving parts to this situation. The world is interdependent, and world trade, definitely if it is cut off at the knees with regards to one specific influential country, it could in fact have a ripple effect, as we heard in this clip here. It could have a ripple effect to many economies. And so what does that mean for us, for XRP, for other cryptocurrencies? Well, I also wanted to bring this up from Bill Ackman. I wouldn't want to keep money in a bank that cannot access the SWIFT system. Once a bank can't transfer or receive funds from other banks, its solvency can be at risk. So think about this for a second. If I were Russian, I would take my money out now. Bank runs could begin in Russia on Monday. So the sanctions were just put upon Russia recently, and they are saying that, Monday, Tuesday, we might not see too much of an effect. But as the week goes on, as weeks go on and months go on, this could have a bigger impact. And so again, just think about it. If you are Russian and you have money in the bank, would you really want your money in a Russian bank that is not and cannot be connected to the SWIFT system because of the Western sanctions being put upon your country? Well, maybe you don't have to imagine it. Maybe you should just watch this clip here. Gabor Gurbax on Twitter. Russians in Moscow waiting in long lines at ATMs to get cash before SWIFT bank and central bank sanctions hit. Watch this.
Вот он, банкомат, который еще хоть как-то деньги выдает. А это все очередь. Очередь в 2 ряда уже, правда.
I'm just going to mute it because it's in Russian, but you guys can see that lineup there. All these people just waiting in line. Already, this was purportedly taken just the other day. So just demonstrating, just describing exactly what I'm saying here, a run on the banks, people looking to take out their money from Russian banks. It looks like a lot of young people too. And so also, let's think about the timing. We also know that this is going on in the Western world. Utility obviously posted this, so we knew about these things in isolation, but putting it all together, I think it does paint an interesting picture. Digital euro will be officially built on the XRPL, and here's a thread. It's my opinion that the EU has confirmed it. Read on. Ripple and the Digital Pound Foundation, Ripple part of the Digital Euro Association, and the DEA brings out the XRP Ledger video info series as well. And so if you guys haven't seen this, this is just a screen grab from the video series that came out earlier this month. So that all just kind of happened to come out. European Union moves to ban Bitcoin and proof of work, so other things that just came out this month. ECB dog whistling to the world to hurry on with their own crypto regulations. ECB urges haste on crypto regulations in wake of Russia sanctions. So, piecing all these things together, it certainly does paint an interesting picture that, hey, look, we're in the next phase of the Great Reset. We gotta move with this, we gotta get it all sorted, we gotta get it all together before Putin has time to make his next move. He goes on to say, the IMF has confirmed Bitcoin proof of work is a failure. They confirm proof of stake has its own limitations and concerns. And there's just a YouTube video talking about that here posted. All of this has been happening while the US government has been trying to bring crypto regulations. All of this has been happening while there is one crypto going through the legal gauntlet. So that's the other thing, the XRP Ripple utility piece. And the fact that, coincidentally or not so coincidentally, we are nearing the end of the lawsuit. Biden's executive order may trigger crypto regulatory spree. So that happened as well this month. February was a big month, I guess, if we look back at it, and it's not even over yet, and it is the shortest month. Interesting. So it's not Bitcoin being audited by regulators, it's not Ethereum being examined by the government. It's XRP, because XRP is going to be the cryptocurrency that moves assets, that moves anything of value from point A to point B on the XRPL. So it is the cryptocurrency that needs the regulatory clarity in order to do so. We've been talking about this for years now, and it's finally coming to a head. It's all kind of culminating to this point. The EU is tired of the US legal delays. This case is coming to a conclusion, and it will bring a wave of XRP adoption that will shock everyone. All other regulatory compliant cryptos will be a complement to the new financial system. So once we see that the lawsuit has been won, I think we are going to feel very, very differently about XRP. I think that the price of XRP is going to look very, very different from how it looks today. I think with mass utility, we are going to see price soar, and we are going to see more demand because of more utility, and price will have to eventually stabilize at a high enough point so that these companies, these businesses, these organizations are going to actually be able to process transactions on the XRPL. And I just kind of posted a random number there, but $75 per XRP, triple digits, $589, whatever it ends up being. That price will have to not only be high, but it will be stable in order for XRP utility to be able to be functional in this new emerging financial system. So over the years, and we're still seeing it, partnerships, mergers, like this is just another one from the Cryptic Poet, like Airwallex, a Ripple partner, they're moving in with borderless cards. So we're also seeing these Ripple partners extending the ecosystem. We can see that a lot of it is happening at the retail end of things, like in this case, borderless cards, remittance companies, partnerships with RIA. There was that initial partnership with MoneyGram. Other companies around the world, like, here's one, Airwallex, there's Mercury FX, there's Flutterwave, and so many others, D-Local. There's so many other companies partnered with Ripple already, and they're doing their own things with regards to retail, so that's also just one part of it. And the banks, right? DBS Bank, the Singaporean mega bank, builds with Ripple. The DBS Digital Exchange provides on-ramps and off-ramps with XRP, the digital payment token. And here's just a quick clip describing that.
Blockchain is the key to payments going forward, especially cross-border payments. We at Ripple are an enterprise software company connecting senders and receivers on the Ripple network around the globe. Blockchain technology enables you to move money faster, with more certainty, cheaper, and importantly, more environmentally friendly. We're super excited about the network that we've built. We have big financial institutions on the network, and we have classic cutting-edge fintechs and PSPs on our network as well.
I don't think I have to play the whole clip, but I will link this clip in the description of the video if you guys want to watch further. I just wanted to prove this point. Also, Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild here. Do you know this guy, Ravi? He's also sitting on the board of directors at DBS. So in this case here, we're just talking about DBS running on RippleNet technology. And over here, this photo that I showed just a few moments ago, high-level advisory group of the IMF's Interdepartmental Working Group on Finance and Technology. This guy here, Ravi Menon, managing director of MAS, also sitting on the board of DBS. You can also see here Brad Garlinghouse to the far right of this photo, stage left, of course. So guys, it's all coming together. And these sanctions that are being put on Russia are definitely giving the banks a run for their money. As you guys can see, now again, this video is not verified, so I do not know if this is true or not. If somebody is watching the channel from Russia, please do let me know if this is happening on the ground. And so we got to think of the possible outcomes. No one is cheering on this war. War is terrible. This is coming from Benjamin S. But you cannot deny that Russia being removed from SWIFT will open the door to them using their own digital payment solution. Actually, it is already happening, and Michael responding here, Russia stated in 2014 during the Crimea attacks that banning them from SWIFT was tantamount to a declaration of war. Benjamin S. saying exactly, SWIFT has been weaponized by the West for too long. Tedfic over here saying, and you think it'll be in favor of crypto if they bypass the sanctions by using crypto? What will the regulators of EU and the US think about that? Benjamin S. states, for every action there is a reaction, and I could not agree more. Think about this, guys. Russia will come out and say they are using BTC or ETH. The West responds with their own solution. This is how I think it will play out. So it has been criticized by Thomas Silkjar that Russia is going to move to the XRPL because of these sanctions, and Crypto Dash here also asking, it is possible for Ripple to force a consensus vote to refuse validating Russian transactions on the XRPL. But will this push them to another source like BTC or ETH? And will this in fact force the rest of the world, like the Western countries, Europe, Canada, the United States, and maybe countries in the East as well, like Japan, Singapore, the countries that we already know are Ripple enabled and already have strong ties with Ripple, will this push them to eventually roll out RippleNet globally? And will this coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, coincide with a final positive verdict from the Ripple SEC lawsuit?
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.